Hey everyone, welcome back to M&M IELTS. This is Manmohit. Now guys, in today's video, I am going to share with you all some great tips and techniques for your IELTS speaking module. Doesn't matter if you're giving your IELTS General exam or the academic exam, these tips and techniques will apply to all of you. So if you are about to give your IELTS exam in the upcoming days or months, watch this video until the very end so that you can make sure and ensure that your upcoming exam is the one that you get your desired scores. Let's start. So the first one is speaking sentences and not just a couple of words. I've seen many students, what they tend to do is they will just speak a couple of words in terms of their answers. For example, if they ask you, where do you live? And you give 1 or 2 word answer saying that Melbourne or in Melbourne, right? Now, even though you're giving the correct answers, that is not what the IELTS exam is all about. They do not bother about the correct answers. What they want to see is what sort of flow do you have on the English language. So whenever you go and give your IELTS exam in the speaking module, you have to make sure that you speak at least a good length sentence and not just a couple of words. You can say something like, I live in Melbourne. And if you just want to elaborate that a bit, you can say, I have been living in Melbourne from last 5 years, but recently I have moved to Sydney. Something like this. Again, even though that information is not correct, that is not something that they worry about. They just want to see what sort of command do you have over the English language. Another one that I have is using the hand gestures. I've seen many people saying that you go and give your IELTS speaking exam and just treat it like your job interview. Guys, that is not what the exam is again all about. The examiner doesn't want to see how well you can just behave in the exam and just, sitting on a chair over there and not doing anything. Using hand gestures doesn't mean that you're not confident. It is actually quite the opposite. When you use your hand gestures, you are trying to explain those words and you're actually feeling those words when you're speaking them. And when an examiner sees that you're using your hand gestures and they relate with whatever words you're saying, it actually boosts your scores. So do not be shy of using the hand gestures. That does show that you're confident and not the other way around. Another one is speaking at your natural speed. This is not a computer-based exam. Yes, they have changed the other modules to a computer-based, but still your exam is being marked by a real human being. So whenever you're doing your IELTS speaking, you don't have to increase your speed deliberately to boost your band score. No, that does not happen. It doesn't work like that. Just speak at your natural speed. If you speak slowly in your day-to-day life, it's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong in that. As long as the examiner can understand you loud and clear, that is all what matters. Just for the sake of exam, you don't have to hinder your speed for no reason. Another one is giving relevant answers and not just getting diverted. Let's say they ask you a question and you give an answer, but then a couple of different vocabulary words which you just want to fit within your answer. So what you tend to do is you try to divert from whatever was asked and then you just want to show off in front of an examiner by giving and speaking those complex words. Yes, you may just give those big bulky words in front of an examiner, but that is actually lowering your scores over there. Why? Because that is not what was asked. The question is something different and then you are giving a different answer. This will lower your band score. Just stick to whatever question that they have asked you. If you do not know the correct complex word for that one, if you're not sure of any good vocabulary words, it is absolutely fine to just speak whatever words you already know, even though those words are simple, because if you speak any irrelevant answers, that are actually going to lower your band score. So never do that in your real exam. Another one is on top of that, avoiding the slangs. Slang like, I kinda wanna, all these kind of words, right? Now they might sound very fancy in day-to-day life, but in your IELTS exam, this is not what the examiner is after. Just stick with the simple words. You don't have to use slangs. If you tend to use 1 or 2 slangs here and there, it's not going to make a big deal, I would say. But then if you just start using those slang words just to show off and just to show the examiner that you have got a great command over the English language, no, examiners know what to give marks on and what not to give marks on. So if they see that you are deliberately using slang words, unfortunately, they are going to reduce the band score for that one. Afterwards, next is, and that relates to my second last point where I said speaking clearly and calmly. If you are speaking at a quicker speed, let's say your natural speed is a quick one, but the examiner who is sitting right in front of you, they cannot understand you properly, right? Now, they might ask you once or twice to speak it up again, but then ultimately, if they cannot understand half of your words or half of your sentences, unfortunately, they will have no other thing but to reduce your band score. So that is something which we do not want. Now, I'm not saying to change your accent. No, that is not something which the examiner needs. Speak at whatever accent you have. Every single accent is acceptable in your IELTS speaking exam, but just make sure that whatever words you're speaking them very clearly and be calm. Yes, I know it's an expensive exam and also all the other things that you have going on. You may feel a bit pressurized and a bit nervous. That is absolutely fine. Even examiners know that you would be a bit nervous, but then just make sure whatever words you're speaking out, they sound very clear. You might open up your jaws a bit just so that the words that are coming out of your mouth, they sound a lot clearer just for the sake of the exam. Another one I have is speaking from your experience. Guys, again, if the best way to do the IELTS speaking is if or whatever question they ask in the real exam, try to speak something from your life experience, something that you have already experienced. Why? Simple logical answer for that is it is very easy to speak from your life experiences because you've already gone through that. Now, let's say they ask you a question which you have never experienced in your life before. What about that? Rather than saying to the examiner, unfortunately, I'm not sure for the answer for that because I've never experienced this. No, do not do that. Speak something. Again, examiners are not going to cross-check your facts that did you actually do that or is it actually true? No, they just want to see the control that you have over the English language because that's what they are there for. Just focus on your fluency, just focus on your pronunciation, content, just be relevant to whatever questions are being asked in the exam. Even if you have not experienced them, even if that fact is incorrect, even if those numbers do not match what actually happened, it does not matter. But again, if you have experienced that thing before in your life, prefer speaking from a life experience because then your answers will become a lot easier because you will not have to think about the content a lot because those ideas will flow to yourself very naturally. And guys, last but not the least, use the words that you know the meaning of. I cannot stress this fact a lot that if you are unsure of a word, but you just want to impress the examiner by deliberately and intentionally speaking those words, guys, it is not going to help you at all because examiners are smart. They can understand and feel where you're trying to be fake and where you're trying to be genuine. If you just try to put a couple of words in between your sentences, which do not even make any sense in that context, yes, your speech may sound fancy, but it is not what will get you a greater band score. Even if you speak simple words, but those match and they are relevant to whatever your context is, yes, you will get a better band score. Now, I'm not saying vocabulary is not important. Yes, it is good to have a good collection of words which you can use in different scenarios. But if there comes a topic which you're not sure of the vocabulary words, be simple. Do not make any grammar mistakes. That's the main key. Be fluent, pronounce all the words that you have spoken correctly, and make sure that you just stick to the basics. Do not try to be fancy. Use your hand gestures, be confident, be calm, and just speak from your life experiences, making sure the words that you're using you actually know the meaning of and you actually know the application of. These were a few of the tips that I wanted to share with all of you. I hope this video was helpful. If you have got any sort of questions for any other topics, or if you want us to make some other content videos which you're struggling in, or those are your weak areas, do leave them down in the comment section below just so that we can prioritize those videos instead of the ones that we have planned. If you haven't already, do consider subscribing just so that whenever those new videos are up, you would be notified about them straight away. All the best if you have got your exams coming soon. God bless all of you, and I'll see you all in the next one.